Good day everyone, I am Beverly Capol from Group 2 and my topic is 10.2 Procedures and Guidelines. A. Spot check or accosting. When approaching the individual, the police officer shall identify himself as a police officer. If not in uniform, the police officer must identify himself by announcing his identity and displaying an official identification card or badge. So the first thing to do during a spot check is the officer must clearly say that he is a police officer and show his ID or badge, especially if he is not in uniform. This is to make sure that the person knows that it is an official and lawful encounter. Number 2, police officers shall be courteous at all times but maintain caution and remain vigilant for suspicious movements like attempting to retrieve a weapon, conceal or discard contraband, or other similar actions. So the police must always be polite and respectful when talking to people, but they should still be alert for any sense of danger like sudden movements or attempts to hide something. Number 3, before approaching more than one individual, police officers should determine whether the circumstances warrant a request for backup and whether the spot check or accosting can and should be delayed until such backup arrives. So, if there's a group of people or the situation looks risky, the officer should call for other officers to assist before proceeding, because safety comes first. Next is number 4. Police officers shall confine their questions as to the person's identity, place of residence, and other inquiries necessary to resolve the police officer's suspicion. However, in no instance shall a police officer hold a person longer than the period reasonably necessary to be able to make these limited inquiries and to resolve suspicions. So, in number 4, officers can only ask for basic details to confirm who the person is and to clear up the suspicion. They cannot detain the person longer than needed. So 5, police officers are not required to inform the person of his rights under the law. Example, Miranda warning, anti-torture law, unless the person is placed under arrest. So, in number 5, during questioning or inspection, officers don't need to read the person's rights, like Miranda rights, unless the person is officially arrested. So, next is letter B, body frisk or pat-down search. When reasonable suspicion justifies a pat-down search, the search should be performed with due caution, restraint, and sensitivity. Pat-down searches should be conducted in the following manner. So, if there is a reasonable suspicion that a person might be armed or carrying illegal items, the police may lightly pat or frisk the person's clothing. It must be done carefully, respectfully, and only if truly necessary. So, number 1, whenever possible, pat-down searches should be conducted by at least 2 police officers, one to perform the search while the other provides a protective cover. So in number 1, there must be 2 officers present during a pat-down. The one performs the search while the other one provides security and watches the surroundings for safety. Number 2, because pat-down searches are cursory in nature, they should be performed with the suspect in a standing position or with the hands placed against a stationary object and feet spread apart. However, should an officer visually observe a weapon, a more secure search position may be used, like the prone or lying face down position. So in number 2, the suspect is usually searched while standing with hands against the wall and feet apart. So if the officer sees a weapon, They may have the person lie face down or the prone position for safety. In number 3, in a pat-down search, officers are permitted only to feel the outer clothing of the suspect. Police officers may not place their hands inside the pockets of the subject's clothing unless they feel an object that could probably be a weapon, such as a gun, knife, club, or the like. So, police may only pat or touches the outside of the person's clothes. They cannot put their hands inside pockets unless they feel something that seems like a weapon. So, number 4, if the suspect is carrying an object such as a handbag, suitcase, briefcase, sock, or other similar items that may conceal a weapon, the police officer should not open the item but instead put it in a place out of the suspect's reach. So if the person has a bag or briefcase, the officer must not open it immediately. Instead, they should place it out of the suspect's reach until it's safe to check it properly. If the external patting of the suspect's clothing fails to disclose evidence of a weapon, no further search may be made. If a weapon is found in the possession of which amounts to a violation of the law, the police officer shall arrest the suspect and conduct a complete search of his person. So, in the second paragraph, if the officer doesn't feel any weapon or illegal items during the pat-down search, the search should be stopped. No further checking is needed. But, if the officer does find a weapon or something illegal, they can arrest the person and perform a complete search. So the next is 10.3, reporting after the spot check, accosting, or pat-down search. If after conducting a spot check or accosting or pat-down search, the police officer has no basis for making an arrest, he should record the facts of such spot check, accosting, or pat-down search and forward a report to the appropriate authority. If the spot check, accosting, or pat-down search gives a justification for a valid warrantless arrest, then an arrest shall be made. So, after doing a spot check or pat-down search, if the officer does not arrest anyone, they must still record and report what happened to their superior. However, if the search leads to finding evidence or a crime that justifies an arrest, then the officer may arrest the person even without a warrant.
So good day everyone, this is Sierra Mika and this is the continuation of the report. Rule number 11, checkpoint. 11.1, authority to establish checkpoint. A checkpoint is a place where the police check vehicular or pedestrian traffic to enforce circulation control measure and other laws, orders, and regulation. The establishment of checkpoint must always be authorized by the head of the office of the territorial PNP unit and manned by uniformed PNP personnel. Other units directly involved in an operation may establish mobile checkpoint in coordination with the unit commander in the area. So a checkpoint must be authorized by the head of the office of the territorial PNP unit. Then, ang magbantay is mga uniformed PNP personnel. So, the purpose of checkpoint is to enforce circulation control measure and other laws, orders, and regulations. 11.2 Composition. In the conduct of the checkpoint team shall be composed of, but not intended to, the following. A. The team leader shall lead and take responsibility in the conduct of a checkpoint, preferably an officer with the rank of at least police inspector. So, ang team leader siya ang mag-lead ug magiya sa mga other members nga na sa checkpoint. Spotter. PNP personnel who will point or profile suspected vehicles subject for checkpoint. So, ang spotter, siya ang mag-identify sa mga subjected nga person nga feel niya or na siya knowledge nga suspicious ang behavior sa tao. Spokesperson, TL or member who is in charge of communicating with the motorist subject for checkpoint. So, siya ang communicate sa mga drivers, siya may moingon og asa mo lisensya, asa mo ang rehistro, siya may makig-istorya o makighalubilo sa mga motorist. Investigation Sub-Team in charge of investigation and documentation of possible accidents in the checkpoint, including the issuance of traffic citation ticket or traffic violation report. So, ang investigation sub-team is the one who document accident and issuance citation. Search or arresting sub-team designated to conduct search, seizure, and arrest if necessary. They are the person who will be conducting the search, seizure, or arrest if kinahanglan ra pod. The security sub-team tasked to provide security in the checkpoint area, sila ang mag-secure sa area, and the blocking pursuing sub-team is tasked to block or pursue fleeing suspect or vehicle. So, katuning mga sakyanan, nga mapasuto igdagan, so sila mo imo-block sa road or mo pursue adto nga vehicles. For example, a police checkpoint is a setup on a busy highway. The spotter noticed a vehicle with tinted windows and a driver exhibiting nervous behavior. Signaling a potential suspect, they directly point the vehicle to the team leader, who then instruct the spokesperson to approach the vehicle and request the driver's license and registration. If the driver appears suspicious, the investigation sub-team documents the encounter, including the driver's information and any potential violation. If a search is necessary, the search and arresting sub-team step in the conduct, then search and potentially detain the driver if contraband is found. While this is happening, the security sub-team maintain and safe the perimeter and around the checkpoint, ensuring the safety of all personnel. And if the driver flees or motakas, the blocking pursuing sub-team pursues the vehicles while proper coordination from dispatch. 11.3 Guidelines. Letter A. Mobile checkpoints are authorized only when established in conjunction with ongoing police operation. Only officially marked vehicles with blinkers turned on, if available, shall be used in establishing mobile checkpoint. Ug mokandak og checkpoint, dili na siya set up like mag-checkpoint ra by itself. Kinahanglan siyang uktabang sa mga broader police effort or collaboration. It must have an important reason, like for searching a criminal, to pursuit, or any important operation. So, with the use of marked vehicles with blinkers turned on, it maintains that transparency and authority. Only officials police vehicles with marking should be used. It helps people to recognize nga naay gibuhat or nga operation na nihitabo ang mga police, and the blinkers or katong mga lights dapat siyang i-turn on para aware ang mga tao nga naay gibuhat nga operation ang mga police. And it's also to make the vehicles more visible in approaching traffic in the road, and para matagaan po sila way ang mga police, because when we say mobile checkpoint, it implies movable setup. Like for example, police in a town responding to an armed robbery and the suspect has fled in a vehicles. A police commander established mobile checkpoint and at a strategic location on the suspect likely escape route. Police arrive in a marked police car with flashing blinkers to conclude the police that there is ongoing police operation. So nakatabang siya para mag-give way ang mga tao o makabalo ang mga tao nga naay operation nga nahitabo ang mga pulis. Letter B, checkpoint are established to enforce circulation control measure, laws, orders, and regulations, and when there is need to arrest a criminal or fugitive from justice. So checkpoint is important to regulate the flow of vehicles and pedestrian to ensure ang tanan mosunod sa mga law, mga public orders and regulation, and to maintain the safety of everyone. Example, police set up a checkpoint on the main road to check for drunk driver, ensures the vehicles have a proper registration or verified that the drivers have a valid licenses. The imposed checkpoint to enforce circulation control and traffic laws. C. The composition of a police manning the checkpoint shall be left to the sound discretion, the team leader with the consideration of a female PNP officer in the team, especially when there is anticipated female suspect. For example, a police team is setting up a checkpoint because they have intelligence about a known female suspect who, who might be in a particular car or carrying something in their bag. Knowingly nga babae man ang target suspect, so the team leader would not assign a male to conduct the search. So the female officer ang mabuhat sa search, and this ensure the search is carried out in a manner that respect the suspect privacy and is conducted in accordance with the proper procedure and legal requirements. Letter D, the minimum police checkpoint team should at least be composed of an 8-man complement with 3 verifiers, 1 spotter, 1 team leader, 1 profiler, and 1 rear security and 1 advanced security. So emphasizing the minimum of 8 officers ensure efficiency and safety for the people around and the personnel also. So the team leader officer charged for responsible for leading the entire checkpoint. The spotter is positioned to observe or identify potential suspicious person or vehicles. The profiler is coordinated with the spotter to further access and profile flag vehicles. And the 3 verifiers is responsible for checking vehicles, document, conducting search, making arrest if necessary, and taking initial custody of evidence. The advanced security provides immediate security out in the front of the checkpoint, ensuring the safety of the personnel and blocking of pursuing or fleeing suspect. And the rear security have a responsibility in maintaining overall safety and providing a defensive position. So having an 8 maximum officer in implementing a checkpoint have different responsibility to create an efficiency safety and to have a good outcome of the checkpoint. Letter E, the team manning checkpoint must have immediate contact with the LGU, Public Authority Office, or any members of the Philippine Bar and or the media for drug cases. LGU or local government units provides a layer of commonly support and ensures that the checkpoint operation is coordinated with the local authorities. Attorney. The Public Attorney Office ensures that individuals apprehended in a checkpoint, particularly in drug cases, have immediate access to legal counsel upholding their rights. Members of the Philippine Bar allows for independent legal oversight and representation for suspects who may not qualify for the Public Authority Office. In the media, like for drug cases, the involvement of media can provide transparency and public accountability, ensuring the operation is conducted fairly and efficiently. So F, the team should encourage the participation of, but not limited to, the local government units, civil society groups, non-government organization, business organization, and other civic groups, media, and other stakeholders during the conduct of police checkpoint operation. So this ensures transparency, collaboration, and a broader understanding of the operation purpose to execute. By actively engaging with the community, the police can build trust and cooperation